I'm excited to see how things work out this season because obviously Envoy gets announced as a free agent from OpTic at a similar
Mhm.
time to the formal retirement type stuff. I'm sure we'd love to know exactly how the off-season kind of went down from your perspective, because I guess the team was always going to change after champs, pretty much whatever happened. Because I mean, Slash has said that the octane thing, people in the octane was coming in. When we last spoke in May, sometime, it was kind of like, could Slash and octane coincide on a team? It's tough to see it. It felt like changes were coming pretty much no matter what. Like obviously you could have made a decent run at champs, doesn't work out. But you started in the losers bracket, and there's been a lot of talk about that anyway. That shouldn't necessarily be a thing. But
Yeah.
so I guess Octane was coming in pretty much whatever happened. Like, was there a plan in place for how to sort out the SMGs? Because like Hook was still there on the bench, John obviously is there, the Draza question mark. Like, and then of course Envoy's a free agent. All of a sudden, it's like, well, now we can start making moves. So, how did that
Yeah.
kind of play out from your perspective?
Well, Sam was joining the team, like, anyways. It wasn't 100% in place of Austin. There was talks to move me back to a sub and have it be me, Austin, Draza, and Sam. But with it being 44, and I don't think Austin's really okay with running a flex, and we know for sure Sam can't run the flex. So it was just kind of like it was just like a weird thing where we didn't want to go into the game and have this struggle of roles. Like I feel like with our teams, with me and Austin, on our teams, like the past 2 or 3 years, we've had that uh role crisis in the beginning of the game, which kind of set you back a lot. So then it just became who do I want to play with, me like Sam or Austin, and it just like it wasn't like a thing of like oh I think Austin's fallen off or Austin's bad. I just felt like it's been 3 years and we had a good year the first year, but it's just been a struggle, and it just feels like one of those things where it's just like destined to have bad luck. So I just kind of wanted to try something new with Sam, and Sam's one of my best friends, so he was kind of like an automatic on the team. We looked into CleanX, just because I feel like the whole league heard that CleanX hasn't signed yet. It wasn't that he was leaving; he just wasn't signed. So it was like there was an opportunity there, but it kind of was also just like they just got second. Like there's no shot that they're breaking up. So it kind of was just like chalked. And then I also just had a call with Austin, like after we were saying we're gonna pick up Sam, and Austin called me saying that there was gonna be a team with him, Envoy, and Crim,
Oh
and
man.
he asked if I wanted to join. But I just wasn't leaving Sam. And then that was like right after Envoy tweeted free agent. So I DM'd Envoy, was like, "Yo, let's run it." And he was like, "Let's do it." And he was just like, "What's the team?" And I was like, "Yo, it's me, you, Sam, and Draza." And he was down for it. And literally, it was done like that. Um, we're also talking to Reese Vivid too, but at the same time, the team just decided that Ambo was the best fit for our team.
So, like, what organization would that have been on, the Slasher Crim thing? Because I was trying to figure this out today. Because Slasher said on the flank that like he was almost close to team with Crim this off season, and I was
Yeah,
like, what org would that even been on?
it
I
would
was
have
trying to.
been LAG, I think,
Oh, that'd have been the
or they would
LG.
have just tried. They would have just tried to come to LAT with me.
Mm, I see. Yeah, that would have been interesting for sure. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Think about that. I mean, Slasher and Crim, like, could you see that working, Kenny? Like, did you kind of look at that and were like,
So
man, do I want to put myself through that?
in the call, it was kind of like the same with like the Sam and Austin thing. Like yo, who would run the flex? But apparently, like Krim is okay with running the flex. I just kind of like I said, I was just people call me a butt buddy or like a friendship league, but I was just kind of set on Sam. Like me and Sam have had really highs, like good highs, and like I feel like our friendship is just so well put, and like I feel like our ego, we didn't argue a lot on our 100T team, me and Sam at least. So I feel like we get together really well, and like we let things slide or let things go, and don't let things get to a point where like things get chalked. So I think that's why like I was just like, yeah, I want to have Sam, want to have a good year of like less mental stress, more fun, but also a really good team that's talented. So I think Sam was like the top of my list for that category in particular.
Any thoughts, Austin?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the link up between you and Octane was pretty obvious. I was actually pretty shocked that Seattle didn't trade him to you guys last year because like in my head I'm like he's gonna leave, right? He's gonna leave. Your team's
Right.
pretty bad. Like why wouldn't you just like from like a sports background, I'm like, why don't you just try to get something in return for him, right? And like, but no, they just let him walk for free. And then I was like, well, he's going 100T, 100%. But like, I think the roster construction actually makes a lot of sense on paper because like, Octane's more like that slower back AR, and you're the fast paced one. So there's like no compensating there. Like you guys are gonna be fit pretty naturally, and Draza and Envoy are gonna be like more of those selfless SMGs that don't need to put up big slaying numbers. So that makes sense. Like they're gonna be more of like the taking routes, doing the objective and stuff. So it'll be a really nice like system for you guys to thrive in as long as like everything like comes together.
It's true. I feel like people say, well, people look at our team and just think like there's no leadership role. I don't know. I feel like the past year or two, I've taken more of a step forward into a leadership role. I feel like people don't see in our scrims or seeing like, I guess, like out of like what is posted on the LAT channel. People don't know that I have like a pretty big voice in like scrims or just in general in our team, in like in game, out of game. And I feel like, I mean, it's not like I say it's easy. It's definitely not a hard thing, and that's why we brought Austin back, because I was actually struggling with it. But I feel like I said, having people on our team that are willing to listen, having this good friendship with Sam and Draza, and also bringing Envoy in, who's pretty, I feel like, level-headed, and also is really, really like methodical in game. I feel like with our team, it works really well, and I feel like it could get to a point where like everybody on our team's a leader, and it's just like evenly split between all four, where it's just like we all think the same, and I feel like that's what that's what like we're going into in this game, into this game with that mentality, is that I don't think we want to have a solo leader that's just like making every call. I feel like it just should be a team thing.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be any experimenting with different roles, like you on the SMG, Draza
Yeah.
on the AR? During
I
the
think that's a thing. That's one of the things like making this team was our big thing. Is like I said, I feel like we're all pretty level headed, and like the flexibility. I mean, Sam main AR, like the other three, like Envoy. We haven't seen Envoy with AR, but I feel like he's pretty flexible. But me and Draza both flexes. Depending on how the game rolls. I mean, it is a World War II type game, so could see me on the sub again. I'm not against it. But we're definitely gonna try both. We talked about it, and it's kind of a thing. We just whatever works for us, whatever is best for us, I guess you can say, is what we're gonna roll with.
Especially after this past year. I mean, you ran 3 different roles. Draza ran like 3 different roles, so you're definitely one of the most versatile teams in the league. Especially if it ends up being 3 SMGs on some of the hardpoint maps. I think you guys are in like the early position to succeed. But even if it's a 3 AR map, like a checkmate sometimes could be, like you obviously have you and Draza that can run the AR. So you guys are in a
Exactly.
really, really good position.